So this might be a sensitive topic for most, but hey, if it ain't sensitive, it ain't real. But I may say some controversial things. If you're offended, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I hope you can at least respect my absolute honesty and transparency. My intentions are pure, and I only wish to help people grow in their relationship with Christ. Christians, followers of Christ, being depressed, is that a thing? A possibility? Yes, it is. I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible and not give the typical message of pray, seek God more. What most people would usually hear when you have any sort of problem as a Christian. Yes, these are things you should do, but you should be doing it regardless if you're sad, happy, mad, depressed. You should be doing these things. So there's certain things you can't just pray out of you. If you snap your arm in two and your arm is just hanging, a prayer ain't gonna stitch you up. It ain't gonna put your arm back in place. You got to get to a hospital. That's why they're here for. Now that's just an example. I believe in depression as a state of mind. I've seen testimonies of people who've had one-on-one time with God alone, and have had some self-deliverance, and immediately their depression was gone. If you tried that, you're anything like me, it doesn't really do anything for you. You might get a sense of peace or joy in that moment, but overall you're in the same boat. I'm not saying that wouldn't work. I'm saying everyone's different, but it's always good and important to have those one-on-one times with God. But you have to dig a little deeper into things sometimes. Sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. You don't know why you're sad, pissed off all the time, but I do believe there's a reason for everything. You could be in a cycle of sin, addiction, to whatever it is, and you're feeling that guilt and it's screwing with your head, your mood. Whatever it is you feel bothering you, maybe it's something in your situation you can't change. Whatever it is, I recommend talking to someone you trust, a pastor, a friend, etc., etc. But I'm going to give you something real. Most probably wouldn't tell you. But like I said in the beginning, going to be as transparent and as real as possible. It's you and God. You have nobody but Jesus to lean on at the end of the day. You live inside your own mind, and can't nobody understand it like Jesus can. And don't nobody love you like he does. You can talk to 1,000 people that care about you. They cannot help you 24/7. You need to be okay with it being you and Jesus, because you're not always going to have someone around. My personal experience, I don't talk to nobody about anything anymore, because I don't believe they can do anything about it. No matter what it is, I might vent a little bit with a friend, but for the most part, I keep it between me and God, and that's me. That's what's worked for me pretty well, and that could work for you too. Like I said, I would recommend talking to someone to reflect what you're saying back to you for a better understanding, but at the end of the day, it's going to be between you and Jesus, because Jesus is going to be by you 24/7. He's the only one that can be by you 24/7. And you need to trust and believe that in due time, pieces will start to fall together, things will be better. And a verse I want you to remember is Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. I've been a Christian for about a year. I've struggled with a lot of different things, and when I make videos, I try to preach the word of God while also relating it to my life and things I've been through for the realest answer, so other people can relate, because relating to people is comforting. And when you feel like you're not alone in something, it motivates you in whatever situation you're in. And I don't think depression or any sort of mental health issues are discussed enough, because people spread the idea that if you're truly following God, you should always be joyful and never struggle with things like depression. Faith doesn't erase every battle overnight. And nowhere in the Bible does God say, if you're mine, you'll never feel broken. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. Some of the greatest people in the Bible have went through deep, dark seasons of depression. Look at Elijah. After doing miracles, he sat under a tree and begged God to let him die. Paul, who spread the gospel across the whole world, wrote in 2 Corinthians 1:8 that he and his companions were so burdened beyond their strength that they despaired of life itself. So no, depression isn't a sign that you're not a real Christian. It's not a sign that you lack in faith. It's a sign that you're human, living in a broken world and dealing with real struggles, just like people in the Bible did. But the good news is God doesn't abandon you at your lowest moments. He's close with the brokenhearted and saves those crushed in spirit. Jesus never promised that we would avoid suffering. He did promise that he would be with us through it. And sometimes the greatest act of faith isn't pretending you're okay. It's being honest about where you are and trusting God to walk you through it. Because you can lie to everybody on this earth, but the one person I encourage you to be 100% honest with at all times, whether you're mad, happy, sad, is Jesus. Because he's the only one that can get you through it. I hope that clarified some things. I hope that helped out. Y'all stay blessed.